Hey everyone, this is Randy with Randy Rich Films, and this is episode 1 of the Randy Rich podcast. So on this podcast, we're going to talk about marketing. Now, there are a ton of facets around marketing, but our main focus is going to revolve around the world of digital marketing, using digital channels like social media, search engines, website optimization, and email. The goal for this podcast, whether you're a small business or a big corporation, is to help you understand and create an effective digital marketing strategy. I think we are all here trying to figure out this thing called social media, how to use it with our business. Is it worth the time and effort? And what platforms do we even use? It's constantly evolving and it's getting tougher and tougher to keep up. In this first episode, we're going to focus on social media marketing and how it can benefit your business. With that said, I want to introduce my first guest. She's the co-founder of Moodswing Marketing, a digital marketing agency here in Central Alberta, working with big clients like Good Earth Coffee, Blue Notes, and Aeropostale. Previous to this, she was the social media manager for a corporate giant called Chatter's Hair Salon. She also has her bachelor in business administration with a marketing major. Welcome, Kassidy Goodall.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Right, this is the first episode ever for Randy Rich, and like I said before, this is going to stem around digital marketing. And with digital marketing, I kind of want to explain to the audience what exactly is marketing.
I mean, I guess to me, in my eyes, marketing is any medium you're using to reach your ideal customer and tell them about your product or service that you're offering.
Right, you're basically solving the customer's problem.
Yes.
Communicating value to your clients, basically.
Exactly.
With that said, we're going to talk on the importance of marketing on social media for businesses. Like, why is it important for a business to be on social media?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of back to the point of, just reaching your ideal customer and basically just trying to get their eyeballs on your product and your brand. Nowadays, where people are looking is on their phones or on their laptops, or it's constantly on screens. So
right.
Being able to offer them that marketing in the place where they're already looking, I think that's why it's super important.
Right, and we were talking earlier on billboards.
Yes.
And I was saying, most of the time when you're driving past a billboard, they're too busy looking down at their phone.
Yeah,
while
exactly.
They're driving.
Most people are like texting and driving anyways and constantly on their phones. Like, I'm on my phone all day long. You're never going to catch me reading a magazine anymore or doing any of those things. I'm constantly just on my phone.
Right.
So
it's
yeah,
basically a billboard in your pocket.
Exactly.
Which is why it's very important for businesses to be on social media.
Exactly. And yeah, I think people are so quick to spend, because it's the traditional form of marketing, these billboards and print ads and all of this stuff. People are so quick to justify spending thousands of dollars on that type of marketing, but the idea of spending that money and investing in digital marketing is like unheard of to them. Like, it's a foreign concept, but in reality, that's kind of where you're getting the best value for your dollar.
Right, and social media, it's kind of new, but it's not.
Right.
And I think that's why people are hesitant to use it, because it hasn't been there all this time.
Yes.
There's tons of platforms out there. Which brings up to our next topic here is, what platform should we post on?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, there's so much out there, and I think it really depends on your goals and your ideal target audience.
Right.
Different age groups are on different platforms, different.
So the old people on Facebook.
Yes, of course.
And the young people on Instagram.
TikTok and Instagram.
Do you use Snapchat at all?
I have in the past for marketing, but I think Snapchat has changed so much that I find it's not really the best for smaller brands. I think, bigger, like, for example, I think that's kind of where magazines are sort of moving now, is onto Snapchat, interestingly enough. So,
and with Snapchat, it's quite a young demographic.
For sure, yeah.
So if you're selling phones, video games, stuff like that, it would be the best place to go for that.
Exactly.
Again, choosing the right platform.
Exactly.
If you're selling a home, the more mature market, you want to hit Facebook and Instagram.
Totally, yeah. It's definitely a strategy of figuring out, okay, who am I really trying to reach? And where are they spending most of their time online?
Right.
And then targeting accordingly.
And it's always changing. So I started on Facebook 10 years ago. And I've gained quite a following on Facebook, just over 5,000 followers on Facebook. And now we switch into Instagram, and it's like all that information, all that following on Facebook kind of disappears when you go into a new platform.
Right.
So is that going to be an issue coming up later? Is Instagram going to go away slowly, and now YouTube is the main thing?
I mean, yeah, I think there's always a risk of that happening. You know, you never know what app is going to come up next and make the last app obsolete. Like, for example, you know, TikTok came kind of out of nowhere, and really gave Instagram a run for their money. And like, even now, you know, I have a tough time deciding if I want to go on TikTok or Instagram, because it's a different type of content and their algorithm is so tailored to the user. And yeah, I think there's always a chance that there might be a new platform that kind of takes over. And
so and which is frustrating, because you gain a rapport on Facebook for me. You move on to Instagram and now you have no followers. You lose that rapport instantly. You lose that rapport. You have to bring that back up again. That's why it's important to stay on top of what's coming up, what's new.
It's kind of keeping tabs on, you know, again, just focusing on your target audience, I think, is the key in deciding what platform you should be on, and looking at, okay, I'm targeting women in their 20s to 40s. Most of them are on Instagram. Okay, I'm going to focus most of my energy on Instagram, and, you know, staying on top of it and making sure that, you know, if that does change, if, you know, a lot of your target audience migrates to TikTok or migrates to Pinterest or whatever other app, that you're staying on top of it and making sure that you're offering content in those places.
Being aware of what's going on with the audience change. Which is tough, because it's always changing. I'm on social media quite often. But still, it's still hard to keep up. I don't know everything about every 100%, every app.
And it changes so fast too.
Like with TikTok, I'm rarely posting on there. Should I be?
No, TikTok is its own ballpark. It's like
it's more of like a
different.
Viral sensation going on there. Everyone's just trying to get that viral. Doing pranks
randomly, like, and the most random videos will go viral and get a ton of views. It's very unpredictable, and it's tough to strategize on TikTok.
Tough for business, but
yeah, I think there's still opportunity there for sure.
Wanna prank someone at your house. It's great for great for that. Now with platforms, there's a lot of options. Now within Instagram, there's another set of options. There's regular posts, there's stories, and there's reels. Now you're trying to figure out what to do between those posts. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's good to kind of play around and have a mix of all three. I mean, it's tough. Reels are a really good way right now to gain a lot of reach from people that don't follow you, which is nice. So I think it's important for people to definitely utilize Reels as much as they can. I know it's intimidating to use video content, but, you know, whether you have to shoot it yourself or, you know, work with someone like you to invest in some good content, I think it's really important for people to be utilizing that, because you're basically reaching new people for free. You know, we talked about organic versus paid ads. Reels are a great way to reach people organically. But I think at the same time, it's good to kind of differentiate your content and have a lot of different types of content, some photos, some video, and stories I think are great too, to just like reach your audience directly. And, you know, from your day-to-day, showing some behind the scenes, that type of stuff. I think stories are great for that.
That comes to my next question. With Reels being like TikTok, do you have to always dance in Reels in TikTok?
No, you don't have to dance. Everyone asks me that all the time, actually. You'd be surprised if they have to dance on their phone to get views. And I'm like, you could if you want, but
again, that revolves around that viral TikTok sensation going on, and they're trying to do it on Reels.
100%.
You don't necessarily have to do that.
No, I think as long as your content is, you know, offering value in some way, whether it's educational or even just entertaining, I think the main thing that Instagram is trying to do is basically get you to stay on the app for longer. So if you're spending time looking at content and rewatching it, you know, something that's educational, that has some tips in it that you're going to go back to, Instagram is going to reward you for that type of content.
And with that content on Reels, it's nice to have like something you don't often post.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I definitely think showing different sides of your business and, like things like if you have like an online e-commerce business, showing packing orders and,
Right.
or making your product, things like that.
Showing that you're human.
Yeah.
With mine, it's a lot of polished work.
Yes.
Polished work. So it's
For
nice
sure.
to see behind the scenes where everything's
Totally.
not so polished just yet.
Yeah, and showing, how you achieve that finished product with some
Right.
behind the scenes. I think it really helps people to understand the value of your
Right.
business and what goes into it and why you put the price on your product that you do.
Right. So moving on to a new topic, we're going to talk about minimum effective dose. Now let me explain what that is. That's basically if you want to post organically, what's the minimum amount of posts you should be posting a week, if not daily? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think every business is different. It definitely depends on, what type of content you're able to share. I think some businesses, there's just not that much to share, but other businesses, you can definitely justify posting every day if you're able to. Of course, everyone's different if they're able to keep up with that. But I think, daily posts are kind of the norm nowadays, even though it's challenging. Even if it's just a story, staying consistent on the app, Instagram is definitely going to reward you and keep putting your content in front of your viewers.
Now, with a minimum effective dose, there is a sweet spot, and you won't know until you start
Exactly.
trying out maybe 1 week, post every single day, see if that changes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. Like testing it out and kind of seeing what is your audience going to engage with the most.
Right.
Is it an everyday post and people are still staying engaged and commenting and liking and sharing? Or are you starting to lose some followers? Are you starting to annoy people?
Right.
You might be the type of brand that's you can only post 2 to 3 times a week,
Right.
which is fine. You can still stay consistent with that. But, exactly like you said, finding that sweet spot and kind of testing it out.
Now with that, like there's a lot of people that may be unfollowing you if you're posting more, but are you gaining followers at the same time? And that's something I think you have to measure
Right.
and test as you go through week to week kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think staying on top of your metrics and keeping an eye on them and seeing, okay, I lost
Right.
10 followers on this day and this was the post that I made.
Right.
Taking a look, just digging into it and seeing, okay, why did this annoy people? Why
Right.
did this make people
Right.
unfollow me?
And do you want those followers that left?
Exactly.
Do you wanna
And thinking
just
about, are you
stick
weeding
with-
out
Right.
the negative
followers.
people or whatever you want to call it? But yeah, and then, seeing same thing, if you have a day where you gain a lot of followers, okay, what was the type of content that I was posting? Were people sharing my content?
Right.
Should I try to recreate that and do that again so that I can grow my
Right.
following even more?
It's a lot of A and B testing.
Exactly.
Trying to figure out
That's
what's best for your business.
Yeah, that's kind
Like
of
you
what
were saying,
marketing
it's
is all
different for
about.
every business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. All right, so our next topic, and it's a popular one, it's organic versus paid advertisements. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a tough one. I hate to say it, but every business is unique. And, I think the way that Facebook or Meta and Instagram have kind of positioned themselves, it's definitely difficult to reach people without putting dollars behind your posts nowadays. That being said, I think there are still strategies and ways that you can reach your audience organically without having to put dollars behind it. Things like investing in good content or, collaborating with other brands that are kind of in the same industry or same field of customers and doing it that way. So
I pulled some stats on, they call it ORR, which is organic reach rate.
Okay.
So these are the numbers coming from Social Status and Hootsuite. So last February, your organic reach rate on Facebook was 3.66%.
Okay.
Meaning if you have 100 followers, 4 people will see your post.
Right, which is not
horrible.
good. Not good at all, no. But that's what we're used to in this
year,
business.
Yeah. This year, February 2023, Facebook's organic reach is now 1.72%.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
So of 100 of your followers, 2 people see your post.
If that, yeah.
If that.
Yeah, that is
It's
insane.
because there's so much content you have to fight for now.
Exactly.
Everyone's putting out content. What's going to be on that final news feed?
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to is like, you know, back in the day, back in the golden days of social media, there just wasn't that much content. There weren't that many creators. But nowadays, everyone is trying to be a UGC content creator, and everyone's trying to, everyone's using Facebook as their, you know, way to share their lives. So you're constantly fighting
business.
for real estate on these apps.
And there's not much time.
No.
So they can't put every single piece of content on there. And I think
Exactly.
that's one of the reasons. The other reason, all platforms' algorithm are favoring paid ads.
Right.
And why not? These platforms are businesses and they need to make money.
Exactly.
So that's just the truth.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to face it.
I know, and it's a tough truth to face because, I think so many people are, like I said before, so reluctant to put dollars into advertising on social media. Which is
weird.
Well, yeah, definitely very weird.
Because you talk about a newspaper ad or a magazine ad, it's like, here's my $1,000, please put it on the front page of a magazine.
Exactly.
But who is seeing that? And you can't even track it.
Exactly, and I don't know if it's because that is something more physical where people feel like, oh, my
tangible
dollars are like going towards producing this, whereas on social media people think, oh, I'm just posting it should be blowing up for free, like why should I have to pay to just have this same post be seen by other people?
That's a good point. That could be one of the reasons the older
it's like
generation
a psychological thing,
are used to having this tangible item.
Right.
That just came right now. Blew my mind.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so the older generation is used to having something tangible, and social media is not.
Yeah, it
tangible.
isn't.
Just like crypto is not that tangible.
Exactly.
It's like I don't want to touch that electronic digital stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real.
I need to see it and feel the sign.
Because if you can just recreate it without actually physically recreating it, it seems like it's not an actual tangible thing. But yeah, you're still getting in front of the same amount of eyeballs. Like that's the goal, is reaching people. Yeah, exactly.
If not more.
But yeah, it's for some people it's tough to justify.
It's evolving and we have to keep up with it. Like if you don't keep up with it, you're falling behind.
I know, and I think that's another thing too, the older generation, because for them, print advertising and radio advertising, it's been so tried and true and it's worked for them in the past.
Right.
They think that they can just keep doing that and get the same results, but it's like, no, our world is changing, the younger generation is having this consumer buying power now, and
which is great for the younger generation because they're evolving as new technology comes out every single year.
Right.
What's that going to turn into?
I know.
Like we're so used to social media. What if social media is all of a sudden gone, but we're grasping onto social media when maybe VR is the next thing.
I know, right? Because eventually we're going to be the older generation that's holding on to social media, and they're going to be in the metaverse, seeing real life, maybe what seem to be tangible objects in front of them in the metaverse.
And I think that's the important thing here, is to just evolve with what's going on.
100%.
And not stay stuck with a certain
be
tangible
open-minded.
item.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to be open-minded about your marketing strategy and be willing to adapt, because it's a changing world for sure, and it's changing fast.
Open-minded is the key there, I think.
Yes. Yes, and a lot of business owners aren't open-minded because they're stuck in their ways. They've either been doing their own marketing for a long time, or they're just not open to new ideas because they've had success in the past, and unfortunately those businesses suffer.
That's true. All right, so going back to the stats, now we're going to check out Instagram's organic reach rate.
Okay, I'm curious.
So this one is February 2023, this month. So regular posts are 7%. Stories are 3.5%.
Oh.
And reels are a whopping 25% organic reach rate. And I think because they're trying to compete with TikTok.
For sure.
This goes the same with shorts on YouTube. They're pushing that out on their algorithm right now. So I think this is beneficial for businesses if they want to stick to organic.
Versus
that's
paid.
The way to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I said before, I think, it's something, because it's a new feature and they're trying to compete with another app, they're going to reward users that are utilizing that feature and almost kind of promoting it in a way and sharing
again frustrating.
Yes.
Because it shows that they can tweak settings.
Exactly.
They can tweak the algorithm.
They can tweak it.
So
like
they give Reels 25% just like that. Eventually, we don't know when, that's going to just drop down to 3% just like the rest of it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they control the content for sure. And I think that's always a good strategy too, is kind of figuring out, okay, what is Instagram doing? What is Meta? What is Facebook focusing on? You know, what are they trying to achieve? And how can I kind of steer my content in the direction and strategize in a way that they're going to automatically reward me for posting, basically, so that I don't have to pay.
Right. And staying on top of things and talking to professionals like yourself.
Yeah.
And knowing these stats is important because you want to follow the trends. I didn't know Reels were at 25%.
That's crazy.
That's
I
quite
didn't
a
even know
chunk.
that either. I mean, I knew that it was a lot, even just based on my own brands that I manage and the engagement that I see from Reels on their end. It's definitely higher significantly. But yeah, it's interesting to hear the actual stat that it's that much higher because
Now with Reels, I don't know if you've noticed this too, but you have kind of like your regular view post and then you get like a crank of like a huge amount of views.
Yeah, it'll randomly blow up sometimes.
What's going on there?
See,
what are your thoughts on that?
I think, so again, back to kind of Instagram and their strategy. Ultimately what Instagram is trying to do is, I hate to say it, but harvest our data. So how they do that is by getting people to spend more time on the app. So if your content is something that people are watching, like looping over and over, sending to their friends to get them to come on the app, saving it for later so that they come back to it, commenting on it, engaging, just spending time, that triggers Instagram's algorithm to think, oh, this is valuable. This is getting people on here so that we can harvest their data, basically. So we're gonna promote it in the algorithm and shoot it out to as many people as possible to try and utilize that, I think.
Right. They're kind of bullies.
Yeah, no, they totally control my life, at least, working in the industry that I do.
Mentally, you spend a lot of time on a post and it gets 100 views, and then all of a sudden you get 1 million views on the next post. And on another note with that is, I think they are manipulating, just like they are. When you post a slew of maybe 10 videos and you don't get many views, they want to crank your emotions and your mental state up again, so they boost that one, so you stick to posting more.
I know, it's like an addiction.
So you post 10 or 20, okay, we see this person's kind of getting emotionally depressed. Let's boost them up with a high view.
Yeah, it's like a dopamine hit.
A dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andrew Huberman.
No kidding. I have, But no, that's so true. It's like they are kind of playing with your emotions a little bit, it seems like sometimes.
Literally
and it's like,
bullying you.
Yeah, and it's like as soon as you get like one viral piece of content, then your engagement after that sucks again. And it's like they just try to keep you coming back because, probably that one piece of content that did really well got you some followers, got you some hopefully sales and, new customers.
And like you said, a huge dopamine hit.
Exactly.
So what are we going to be chasing for the next 10 to 20 videos?
Yeah.
That next dopamine hit of 1 million views. So with that said, I don't think you should be striving for that 1 million view content. Stay true to your content and just be consistent with it. No matter if you get a low or high view, it's showing that you're consistent with your content.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's good to hear these stats too, just to kind of know that, okay, we're all in the same boat. We're all struggling to get our content viewed by our
Trying to figure out things
here. Just because only 1% of your audience is seeing your content, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just literally the app.
Right.
But, finding ways to kind of strategize around that and figure out, okay, what content is doing well and keep doing that, I think is the key.
Right. And a mixture of adding some paid ads in there.
Yes.
Like it's just a must thing to do now.
It's kind of inevitable.
You kind of have to.
Yes.
Even though it may say sponsored on there and it's kind of like a stigma towards it. I don't know why.
Right. I know.
But you have to pay to get it advertised.
Yes, I know. And it's its own strategy for sure. And whether you're paying directly Instagram to post your content in the algorithm, or if you're paying, say, an influencer to post your product, you're still paying for advertising either way. So yeah, I think you're so right. Nowadays there's just so much content out there, and so many people just don't have the time to see all the content.
Right.
So yeah, you kind of have to find different strategies, and paying for it is kind of
the thing to do.
One of the easiest strategies.
Yeah, there's a lot of stubborn people out there that just don't want to.
Yes.
They want to stay organic, but it's going to be a fight.
Yeah,
it's going to be
100%.
a fight.
Yeah, and especially if your content, and that's the thing, you can blow up organically through organic content if it's really high quality content and really educational and really valuable that people are going to share. But people create that kind of content, it's rare, it's tough to create that type of content.
And those ones that hit are few and far between.
Exactly.
I can spend 8 hours on a polished video that I'm proud of, and it won't get the reach unless you pay for it.
I know, yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But emotionally and mentally, you think in your head, that was a crappy video. When
I know.
in reality, it's not going out there to many people.
Yeah.
So you have to realize
it's true.
The algorithm and what it's doing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and it's crazy the difference that putting dollars behind your post can make.
Not many dollars too.
Yeah.
It's still quite cheap.
Exactly.
It's still quite cheap.
Yeah, you can reach a lot of people with not a ton of money. And like we said before, like those billboard ads, like where people
Thousands.
are barely looking at it, whereas, if you're putting a paid ad in front of someone when they're sitting in the comfort of their home,
they're pissed.
Intentionally, true. But they're like intentionally reading, they're already in the mindset of I'm looking at stuff, so but it's easier to kind of get their attention, I think.
Eventually it's just going to be a part of everyday life where you're going to see those paid ads, and we see them all the time.
Totally.
Just like driving past a billboard or a sign, we know it's there. If I want to pay attention to it, I'll pay attention to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't want to look at the ads, you can scroll
right past, just like the other 2 million ads you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's funny, we're so used to, with TV ads, you got to sit through commercials, or you've changed the channel.
And we didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, no, we don't. And it's getting to a point now where social media is finding ways to incorporate those ads in different ways, and it's just something that we have to evolve with.
We have to do, yep.
Yeah.
So Kassidy, to close out this podcast, I want to ask you, what are some quick tips on building your brand on social media?
Building your brand on social media. I think something that a lot of people struggle with is finding that consistent branding. So I think taking the time to really sit down and figure out, okay, what does my brand look like? What is our aesthetic? What's my color palette? What are my fonts? My logo, keeping that all kind of consistent and making your own vibe on social media. It's going to really help your audience to instantly recognize your content as soon as they see it and know, oh, that's Randy Rich's post. I can tell by this font. I can tell by the colors, So I think that's really important, maybe sitting down and putting together a bit of a brand book, or, something that gives you a bit of a guideline. And that's actually a service that we offer too, is kind of streamlining that for you and kind of giving you that guide that you can apply to your social media, your website, your print, all of your stuff, so that everything is consistent. I think that's really important.
And that's going to be hard for a business owner to do.
Right.
With all the tasks that you have as a business owner.
100%.
You need to hire some kind of social media manager or a professional like yourself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, it's become such a big job, and because, social media has kind of become almost like a business directory, where people are like, oh, if I need a nail salon or a hair salon or a doctor, people look on social media or on Facebook. Now. So people are kind of expecting you to be online, whether you like it or not.
Right.
So, and we're all aware of how tough it is to run a business and how many tasks you have from day to day. It's pretty tough to realistically dedicate time to being online every day.
Right.
So yeah, I think, you know, it definitely can be a really valuable investment to kind of look for someone that can take care of that for you, whether it's someone in-house or, yeah, like you said, like an agency like
Right.
ourselves, because yeah, that's our specialty.
And you won't know until you start posting
Yes.
your business on social media that it takes quite some time.
Yeah.
It's not just like a 10-minute thing a day kind of thing.
Right.
You gotta put some effort behind that content for every post kind of thing.
100%.
And it's hard to do that. It takes time to think of something up. Or
100%.
I'll do it later. Then it goes in the back burner and your social media is not relevant.
It's very it's easy to kind of leave it on the back burner and,
Right.
and kind of leave it for later. So yeah, just having someone that's kind of on top of it is really nice. Or even investing in like a scheduling app where you can kind of utilize those services and just kind of do it, you know, once a month, batch all of your
Right.
content and kind of set it and forget it. That's
Right.
super helpful too. But
That'd be a good start.
yeah. And there's still definitely ways to grow organically. And it's just a matter of, you know, thinking about, again, your ideal customer and how your product or service can help them and how you can basically show your customer that.
Right. And like
So-
you were saying before, if you know your demographic, then you're gonna know what platform to be on.
Exactly.
Don't just post them all at once kind of
Yeah.
thing. I mean, you can.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, like don't spread yourself too thin. You don't need to be on every single platform. It's better to invest your more energy into one platform and do really well with
Right.
it, where your target audience is very active, rather than trying to do it all, because it's impossible.
It's actually
with the
a good
amount of
strategy and
platforms.
tactic. Just focus on one. If the 10 platforms are too much for you,
Yeah.
focus on Instagram and just Instagram.
Totally.
Don't worry about going on to TikTok,
Yeah.
TikTok or Snapchat or
Yeah,
YouTube.
Pinterest or all the things.
Eventually
it's
you
super
will get there,
overwhelming.
but focus your efforts into one.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good starting point. And yeah, like I think Facebook and Instagram are really great starts because, like I said, you know, it's literally its own business directory. You know, so often like you'll Google a business to find their information and their Facebook page will just pop up, and that's kind of how you find their phone number or their website or whatever. So
Wait, you don't use a phone book anymore?
no, I haven't checked my phone book in a while. I use it to like reach the top shelves in my pantry. That's about
Google it and you see a Facebook page. That's what it's all about now.
Yeah, it's the new way of being findable on the internet, I guess.
So Kassidy, I want to thank you for coming to my first ever episode on this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
And for later, if you want to, come back and we'll do a deeper dive on strategies and tactics for social media.
Yes, I would love to, definitely.
And all things digital marketing, which you are.
Yes, yeah, it's been great to chat with you, and yeah, I'd love to come back anytime.
Awesome.